We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle around to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend this fire. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. Oh, it is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this his great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In his great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Welcome, all, to the First Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Ann Arbor, Michigan. We are a spiritual community grounded in the principles and values of Unitarian Universalism, guided by love, truth, and justice. Wherever you are joining us from today, however your soul is feeling in this moment, you are welcome here. We are gathered here in virtual community because we value the well-being of our people. We know that to keep the most vulnerable among us healthy, we must find other ways of connection in this time. In addition to our Sunday service, we invite you to a virtual social hour after the service to connect with those in our UUAA community. You can join by going to the link uuaa.org/social hour, and if you are new, please let our host know, and you will be invited to a special breakout room. Please also stay connected by following us on social media, on Facebook and on Twitter and Instagram at @UU_Ann Arbor. We extend a special invitation to you all this week to join the Interfaith Pride Celebration of Washtenaw County on August 6th at 7 p.m., where UUAA has contributed, along with many other religious and spiritual communities, to recognize and celebrate the LGBTQ+ community. You can access the service at facebook.com/interfaithpridewashtenaw County. The symbol of the flaming chalice was adopted by our faith after the Unitarian Service Committee commissioned the design to help refugees escape the Nazis. The chalice represents community, solidarity, sacrifice, and resistance against fascism, all qualities that are still alive in our Unitarian Universalist communities. If you have a chalice near you, now is the time to light it, in honor of and in hope for all that this community can be. Please join with me and say, we light this chalice for the light of truth. We light this chalice for the warmth of love. We light this chalice for the energy of action. We light this chalice for the harmony of peace. Unitarian Universalists are bound not by creed, but by covenant. And being a part of this Unitarian Universalist congregation, we are choosing to be in community, to side with love, to act with integrity, to hold each other accountable in our individual free and responsible searches for truth and meaning. In recognition and remembrance of our UUAA community values, please join me in reciting our covenant. The spirit of this church is love, and service is its law. This is our covenant with each other, to dwell together in peace, to search for truth in love, and to help one another.
As a practicing Unitarian Universalist, I am spiritually bound to live in ways that affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person. So when nearly half the millions of young people who will count as homeless in America this year will also be lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and many of them will be fleeing the violent truths in their coming out stories, and parents who misunderstand what compassion ought to look like, and families who will not abide them near, I know the great shame is not that we have allowed the numbers to get this bleak. The shame is that we have allowed, as a people, the number to reach 1 in the first place. For each child that's born, writes Dr. Isa Marie Barnwell, a morning star rises. and sings to the universe who we are. So let us give thanks for the lesbian, the gay, the bisexual, the trans, the queer people who are born, who are singing with their lives to the universe with stories of dazzling beauty and nearly miraculous strength. And let us, in this time of celebration, let us not let down our solemn duty to shatter the delay to dignity on which injustice insists. And may we only be content to build our spiritual communities into the shape of shelter and the force which renders justice inevitable. Here's a story about what it looks like to search for home. For each of us, may the finding begin this very moment. The story, Are You My Mother? By P.D. Eastman.
A mother bird sat on her egg. The egg jumped. "Uh-oh," said the mother bird, "my baby will be here. He will want to eat. I must get something for my baby bird to eat," she said. "I will be back." So away she went. The egg jumped, it jumped and jumped and jumped. Out came the baby bird. "Where's my mother?" he said. He looked for her. He looked up, he did not see her. He looked down, and he did not see her. "I will go and look for her," he said. So away he went. Down, down, out of the tree he went. Down, 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 it was a long way down. The baby bird could not yet fly. He could not fly, but he could walk. "Now I will go and find my mother," he said. He did not know what his mother looked like. He went right by her. He did not see her. He came to a kitten. "Are you my mother?" he said to the kitten. The kitten just looked and did not say a thing. The kitten was not his mother, so he went on. Then he came to a hen. "Are you my mother?" he said to the hen. "No," said the hen. The kitten was not his mother, and the hen was not his mother. So the baby bird went on. "I have to find my mother," he said. "But where? Where is she? Where could she be?" Then he came to a dog. "Are you my mother?" he said to the dog. "I am not your mother, I'm a dog," said the dog. The kitten was not his mother, the hen was not his mother, the dog was not his mother. So the baby bird went on. Then he came to a cow. "Are you my mother?" he said to the cow. "How could I be your mother?" said the cow. "I'm a cow." The kitten and the hen were not his mother, the dog and the cow were not his mother. Did he have a mother? "I did have a mother," said the baby bird. "I know I did. I have to find her. I will. Now the baby bird did not walk, he ran. Then he saw a car. Could that old thing be his mother? No, it couldn't be. So the baby bird did not stop. He ran on and on. Then he looked way, way down and he saw a boat. "There she is," said the baby bird. And he called out to the boat, but the boat did not stop. The boat went on. He looked way, way up and saw a big plane. "Here I am, mother," he called out. But the plane did not stop. The plane went on. Just then the baby bird saw a big thing. This must be his mother. There she is, he said. There is my mother. He ran right up to it. Mother, mother, here I am, mother, he said to the big thing. But the big thing just said, snort. Oh, you're not my mother, said the baby bird. You're a snort. I have to get out of here. Snort. But the baby bird could not get away. The snort went up. It went way, way up and up and up and up went the baby bird. But now, where was the snort going? Oh, what is this snort going to do to me? Get me out of here. Just then, the snort came to a stop. Where am I? Said the baby bird. I want to go home. I want my mother. Then something happened. The snort put that baby bird right back in the tree. The baby bird was home. Just then the mother bird came back to the tree. Do you know who I am? She said to her baby. Yes, I know who you are, said the baby bird. You're not a kitten, you're not a hen. You're not a dog, you're not a cow, you're not a boat or a plane or a snort. You are a bird, and you are my mother. The end.
Greetings, dear ones. I have a drawer in my kitchen that collects all sorts of stuff. Sometimes I call it the junk drawer. There was one in my grandma's kitchen. I remember that one because miraculously there was always room for candy in it. There was one in my childhood kitchen, and I suspect there are ones in my children's kitchens. It's actually a very useful space, and I generally know what's inside the drawer. So if I need something like a small piece of Velcro or a tiny suitcase lock with a key, I know it's in here. And I can search for it, but over time, the accumulation of stuff in here just grows. I may be pretty sure there is the one thing I need in here, but the search for it becomes harder. I get distracted by all the stuff around it, and it might even be buried. I might even give up looking. As we settle in now to a time of silence together, I invite you into a practice of clearing space. What junk drawer do you need to make a dent in right now? Is it a drawer like this, or a pile of papers on the counter? Is it your mind overflowing from the barrage of news and images and sounds, all of the things in the world we're trying to make sense of right now? Is it in your heart? Are you holding so many emotions that you feel you might burst? In this time of silence together, practice picking up one thing, acknowledging it with curiosity. Marvel at its presence in the drawer, in your head, in your heart, and set it aside. Make room for the search. God named and unnamed, that which holds all. May we acknowledge all that we have collected over time. Help us to clear away that which might distract us from a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. May the removing of distractions allow us space in our hearts and minds to be better able to receive what we uncover in the process. Keep our hearts open to the possibilities that await our action. Amen. Ashe. And may it be so.
Well, we're moving on up to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. We're moving on up to the east side. We finally got a piece of the pie. Fish don't fry in the kitchen, beans don't burn on the grill. I took a whole lot to writing just to get up that hill. Now we're up in the big leagues, getting my turn at bat. As long as we live, it's you and me, baby, and ain't nothing wrong with that, because we're moving on to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. To the east side, finally got a piece of the pie. Well, fresh don't fry in the kitchen, and beans don't fry on the grill. I took a whole lot to write in just to get up that hill. Now we're up in the big leagues and get our turn at bat. As long as we live, it's you and me, baby, and there's nothing wrong with that, because we're moving on to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. We're moving on to the east side. We finally got a piece of the pie. To the side.
finally got a piece of the
What are you drawing? Said the teacher to a young student. I'm drawing God. There were lines everywhere and nothing you could make out at first, certainly not the teacher. Besides, the teacher said, how are you going to draw God? How can you possibly be drawing God? No one knows what God looks like. They will in a minute. For those among us who have come to Unitarian Universalism to escape a mandatory dogma, who come here bristling and bruised in chapters where religion has prescribed what they could believe even before they could believe it, for those who have come to be bound in this community in order to be free, your presence is exactly what our movement was dreaming of when they nested these words in our statement of principles, that we covenant to affirm and promote a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We have prized the right and the will of the individual to set the parameters of their own spiritual journey. And with these powers, shape the look and the likeness we imagine when we spend time with the body of great mystery holding all life. It takes forms of beauty and color outside the lines, more gorgeous than anything that we could imagine in the limits of our own experience. We find a balm in reclaiming these names and the shapes of these truths we have known in our past, connecting them with our understanding to the conversation of divinity our species has woven since the first humans, first curiosities, first sprung up. So we come to say God again, and Allah again, and Jehovah again as emblems and remembrances of our heritage, as a connection to what our ancestors wondered, and as a testimony to the time we were set free from the lines which constrained what we now know as divine. And we are also the people who need to hold these words at a distance from ourselves, their sound triggering memories of pain we have not yet forgiven or feel we can never forget. And we refuse these words' entry into our hearts, insisting that they make space for mystery to express itself in other ways than those used harshly on our hearts and on our days. We are all these people. The conflicting, beautiful body that is the Unitarian Universalist faith. How often our found freedoms from these limits have led us into the same transgressions against reason and love and equity that we fled in the first place. We can become so intoxicated by the freedom to draw God as we see her, that our edge dulls its power to innovate. And our worship and our governance structures and our management of resources and the care of each other and the care of ourselves in this pluralist faith overwhelmingly continue to pattern after the Christian traditions of white American culture. We interpret free and responsible to mean punitive of certain religious languages. We allow ourselves to translate free and responsible into the justification of prejudice against the words which are at the core, simultaneously, of the spiritual searches of our co-religionists, our neighbors. We wage wars against our kindred, wars of words, silent and sonorous, a protective maneuver which accomplishes no community. We replace one discrimination with others, not realizing how strong the call is back to this familiar practice. But to be free is in fact both a blessing and a charge, one we do well to remember in this time looking for freedom and love. So as we are free to wonder beyond constraint, to find meaning in life, we are also constrained to keep our freedoms with discipline. Because the very moment our search imposes sanction on the validity and expression of another's search, both searches are doomed to limitation and separateness. And what divinity we get to see in the world is held captive in our fear. Wasn't this what we were trying to leave behind? We are all responsible to all freedom, not merely our own. We are a practicing religion that demands us to break down the cages which keep us from the truths of others, which demands us to enter religion based on a relentless curiosity, to put down the habit of prejudice and prohibition which keep others from our community when they happen to be freed by the same words which unsettle us. After all, the words themselves are powerless to make force. It is not enough to use your freedom. It's not enough to use my freedom, to harness protection and comfort for only what you or I believe. It is not enough for this freedom to justify religious retaliation in relationships. There is no community in this. It's not what makes a community strong. It's not what justice went to bed hoping for. It's not what injustice woke up afraid of. The grounds for wonder will never end. God will always need new names, and meaning will need new poetry. Truth will need another articulation. It goes on and on and on, constantly expanding and content only to remain unshrunk. This is my partner Adam. My partner Adam. This is my congregation. You all have met.
Hello.
I have asked Adam along for the broadcast to play a game with me to help illustrate our point. The game is called Just Questions, and I ask a question, you ask a question, and we respond to each other, trying not to say any outright declarative statements, trying not to say anything that's not a question. If you do that, you're out. And because in our practice rounds, I did that more often, it's more like, if I do that, I'm out. If you get the rules, you good on the rules?
Mm-hmm.
Then let's get started. Okay. You got to press the thing. I'll start.
Go.
How was your walk?
Didn't you go for a walk as well?
Yes, but didn't I ask you about your walk?
I thought we might have both had the same walk because it was right. Oh, it's a statement.
Ah, yes. Okay. One more time.
Go.
Where are you going?
Is it any of your business where I'm going?
How could it not be any of my business with that tone?
Were you planning on coming along too?
I didn't. Was I invited?
Didn't you ask if you could go earlier today?
I asked where I asked where you were going, didn't I?
I thought so, but I can't remember. Weren't you there to help me remember? That's getting too
Yeah, no, that's got a period. Yeah, no way. Okay, one more.
And go.
How are you feeling?
How are you feeling?
Who's to know?
You are, right?
Am I?
I don't know. That's a statement.
Done. Okay. One last?
Sure.
Okay. You ask the question.
What did you have for lunch today?
What didn't I have for lunch today?
I don't know. I wasn't there. Go. Where did you find that lamp?
What lamp?
The lamp that's hanging from the ceiling. I want to finish that. How has it been these past few months?
How is it ever?
Do you know, aren't there people to talk to that can answer that?
Aren't you one of those people?
Aren't you one of those people as well?
Who's to know?
Who's to know?
Who's not to know?
Can you think of a couple people who are not to know?
Where would I begin?
Don't they say you begin at the beginning?
Wasn't it begin the begin?
What's a begin?
What isn't a begin? I don't know what we're talking about. Okay, that's funny. Lucille Clifton once remarks that the first poem began when someone looked up in the sky and said, "Ah, that was the first poem." Peter Mayer in Blue Boat Home imagines the earth as a vessel through which we travel through life's journey, with us humans as kindred companions aboard. And the song imagines it leaning over the edge in wonder, where we are seen casting questions into the deep. And because of Lucille Clifton's text about the first poem, I've always been curious about this image in Blue Boat Home, how the perspective of curiosity depends on human agency, that fishing metaphor, how questions need to be cast, as if the goal of questions were to amass answers, as if what feeds the inquisitive human soul is only what you can lure away from mystery. If we are only curious when we are aware that we need answers, our images of truth and meaning will be limited continually to the shape of the questions we ask. If we only allow ourselves authority to ignite the spark of curiosity within ourselves, and the primary process by which we derive wisdom depends on us to know exactly where our own growing edges begin, then the mind gets bound up in its own perspective. It is only as open as it knows how to be. It grows only where it knows to grow and is content to change. This solitude from difference is how we begin to confuse the reality of our own perspective with the truth. How we stop seeing ourselves as one part of many perspectives and many creatures and start seeing what's in our mind as universally right, how we fool ourselves into believing that we have arrived on the east side or not. By community, though, our differences kindle wonder in each other. We see more often the life stories, the wider truths that emerge when we are quiet enough to hear the others living among us. Perhaps the free and responsible search for truth and meaning involves as much looking up at the sky and letting the questions expose themselves to our lives more than we are content to shape the questions themselves. Perhaps our wisdom can be widened and grown if we are not our only teachers. And perhaps the leaning forward, the engagement, the activity, maybe some of that energy might be better stored up for the moment the wisdom comes and life reveals, the universe reveals once more the places where justice can live and love can come more alive in a corner of the world. As truth and meaning search for their homes in our minds and our spirits, may we lean forward and lean back, active in the search for communal freedom, waiting for the wisdom to arrive whencever it comes.
As Unitarian Universalists, we are spiritually bound to live in ways that affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person. There are about 225,000 women in jails and prisons in this country. Because there's no reliable data on this population, the estimate is between 3 and 5% are pregnant at intake. At a moment of utmost vulnerability, pregnant incarcerated women may actually be shackled during labor and delivery. 23 states have no laws prohibiting this practice. How is it that we have allowed, as a people, even one woman to give birth while shackled? How is it that this incarcerated population, which again disproportionately consists of women of color, does not have access to the most basic medical care throughout a pregnancy and during and after delivery? We have the opportunity today to chip away at this particular injustice by supporting the Michigan Prison Doula Initiative, which serves pregnant women at the Women's Huron Valley Correctional Facility, the only women's prison in the state of Michigan. This initiative provides childbirth education and doula support. A doula is someone trained to give emotional and physical support to a person in labor. The prison doulas attend 2 prenatal visits. They attend the labor, birth, and stay up to 3 hours postpartum, and follow up with 2 postpartum visits after the women return to the correctional facility. Along with doula support, the program director, Kate Stroud, has office hours at the facility, where women can receive further support and can find an emotionally safe space to process what they are experiencing. Since actively launching this initiative in April 2019, 22 mothers have been supported. The Michigan Prison Doula Initiative makes sure no mother gives birth alone, and that each mother is treated with dignity. As Unitarian Universalists, our search for truth and meaning is without end, but may we see with clarity that there can be an end to injustice, and we are the ones who can move beyond intention and into action to bring it about. So this is your call to action today. Go to UUAA.org/giving to make your offering in support of the Michigan Prison Doula Initiative. I thank you on behalf of the organization for your generosity.
To save you the trouble of finding your nearest tape measure, and to reassure you so that you might sing robustly, let me say, this next hymn was recorded several months ago in our first online service during this time.
Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, sisters, we can make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, sisters, we can make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, sisters, we can make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions, with all of our voices and all of our visions, with all of our voices and all of our visions, sisters, we can make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, sisters, we can make such sweet harmony. building bridges between our divisions. I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, sisters, we can make such sweet harmony. Sisters, we can make such sweet harmony. Sisters, we can make such. Sisters, we can make such sweet harmony. 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 Sisters, we can make such sweet harmony.
Hey.
Woo! Air 5.
Yeah, lay it out.
Go now into your corners of the world with peace in your heart and resolve in your mind. Go to search for truth and meaning wherever they might be. And limit yourself not to the places only where you suspect. May you know the time to lean back and wonder. And when justice makes the call, may you know it is time to lean forward, engage, and help to save the world. Amen. Blessed be.